Hello, hello, hello. How are we this morning? Goodness sakes. It is Wednesday. Oh, Wednesday. Wednesday, the middle of the week, hump day. I go in for a stress test today. Whoop-de-doo. I'll put it off in December. I just didn't want to go through it with the holidays. But I'm going to do it today. They tell me, hey, T-Bone, that because I have a pacemaker, they can't do the treadmill. Well, that's good. I'm for that. Although they did the treadmill last time I was in there, so whatever. They're going to inject me with something that'll make me go, feel like I'm having a heart attack. And then they'll inject me with something else that'll stop it. So I don't know. I don't even know what they're looking for. I don't even know what the purpose of this is. I mean, what did they find out? That I'm an old man with a bad heart? Well, I already know that. Glory. Good morning, Michael Pfeiffer. Hello, Michael. T-Bone. T-Bone is here among us. Good to see you, T-Bone. And Naresh, of course, has been here for hours. Excuse me. What else is going on? I don't really know. You know, I've been thinking about something last day or two. Thinking about the fact that what this whole thing we're doing here really represents is people getting together and having fun, chatting and talking. Now, that happens no better than on Discord. I'll bring up the Discord here a minute. Can I do this? How can I do this? I don't know. I think a way, let's see, what I had in mind, the Permian Basin. Excuse me. Trying to clear the pipes out here this morning. Okay, so let's get this back up here. Railroad Commission of Texas. So oil field operations. It's an oil and gas producing area located in West Texas and the adjoining area of southeastern New Mexico. Covers an area 250 miles wide and 300 miles long, composed of more than 7,000 fields, oil fields. Mercy. Well, that's pretty interesting. So, Carlsbad, New Mexico. Michael is hailing from. All right. Glory. What is that music? Huh. It's been playing for a while, apparently. I need to shut it down. There. I heard it in my earphones, which are sitting hanging on the screen. All right. We're getting lost in the shuffle today. Dane Ritz. Hello, Dane. I said hello to Thomas Hines and Katrina. Canistio. Good morning, Canistio. JBVM. Hi there. Thomas Hines. Hines like ketchup, but I'm Irish and Welsh and Scottish. I need to figure out Discord Tried the other day. It was a nightmare. You know what's funny is that once you get it, it's really simple. But so many people have trouble getting into it, and I really don't understand why. Um, if you click on the link, you have to put a little information describing who you are, and then it dumps you into um, uh, a channel. You then need to have someone uh, uh, designate you a snook. And we've got people on the lookout all the time to do that. Excuse me. Let's see. So when you go in, at the top you see useful information, rules, find help here, and facts. You should read those. And then there's a beginner's guide for people who want to learn how to do tanks. And then under fish help, meet and greet. And that's usually where you wind up. You kind of get dumped there. So for example, let's see, KOBM just landed. Zen Aqua Garden, who's already been designated a snook. Christopher LG is a snook. That means you can post. Christopher said, hello, I have my first tank in the works at the moment, 40 gallons, wish me luck. Apothecary says, good luck to you. Now, once you're there, that's meet and greet. You could, if you have a problem, you click on fish emergencies and you can post your problem. Questions and answers. Just if you look on the left, this list of topics that are actually each individual channels. Photos and videos. Then under useful info, where is it? Fish help. Natural aquariums is the next category. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4 channels, 5 channels under natural aquariums. Dirted substrate, food web, plant talks, resurrection, and water chemistry. So those are 5 different categories, 5 different channels that you can enter to discuss matters pertaining to those subjects. And that's all under the general category of natural aquariums. The next category is featured channels, equipment, natural saltwater, bettas, and shrimp, where we have people monitoring those who have expertise in those fields. By the way, this picture, I'm talking about this and I'm not showing it. This picture right here is Tish's aquarium, which is just absolutely remarkable. There it is. Well, anyway, hang in there with your attempts to get on Discord. It is worth the effort. It's a little confusing at first. Once you get it straightened out, it's pretty simple. Denning says Permian Basin kept us energy independent until sleepy Joe Biden closed it down, and now we're dependent on terrorist countries again. You know, this is nothing more than political tyranny. You know, an attempt to bring down the culture. It's an obscenity. The current presidency is an obscenity, and it needs to be ended. It needs to be brought to a screeching halt, and all of those who have created it need to be brought to trial for crimes against humanity. I mean, that's the way I feel about it. Prove me wrong. For those of you who are uncomfortable with political statements on YouTube in the fish fam, don't get me started on religion. All right? I'll tell you what. If you're interested in tropical fish and you believe that politics and religion have nothing to do with it, you are a twit. You are witless. You have a mind stuck somewhere on a foreign planet. Politics has everything to do with this hobby. Everything. And religion is the foundation of this hobby. Nature, the world around us, creation. And if you want to separate that from any idea of God, then you're really not interested in what Webb is doing. James Webb Space Telescope. Do you understand what that is? You understand what that is? What they're doing, what that's for? This is a multi-billion-dollar project to discover one thing. One thing. To discover the earliest emanations coming from the Big Bang. The source of the universe, the Big Bang. Now, why is that significant? By the way, the telescope is now 11 days in, and it is in preparation of opening its secondary mirror. In 3 more days, it'll open the primary mirror, and then 2 days after that, we'll begin opening the mirror segments. This is a monumental. It is now 592,000 miles from Earth. There's 306,000 miles left, is 65% of the way to L2 with a cruising speed of 0.29 miles per second. That's about 1,200 miles an hour. Not super fast, but pretty quick. Oh dear, I messed up here. So, the Big Bang. Why is the Big Bang significant? The Big Bang, hang in there with me here a minute. The Big Bang was an event which we are on the verge of proving actually occurred when something came out of nothing. An uncaused cause. Do you get that? The something that occurred at that moment came out of not some other thing, was not caused by something, but came from nothing. Now, how does something come from nothing? Except by the hand of an eternal reality that is not discernible directly in this universe, except as it imposes itself. And it imposes itself by virtue of its essential will to bring about a number of principles, one of which is that the universe has created is orderly. Chaos is not orderly. Why is the universe not simply utter chaos? It's not. It is orderly. You see, all of these issues, something from nothing, orderliness, and more, point to a reality beyond our current reality that is benevolent, that is principled, that is, in a word, God. So Hubble is about the business, not Hubble. Webb is about the business of proving the existence of God. The fact that the universe came from a spark. What's the source of the spark? There can be no other source for the spark than that which is not caused, an uncaused cause, a prior reality that exists beyond causation, that simply is and is eternal, the nature of God. Very, very simple once you get it in your brain. So the big problem we've been having in our weak-minded culture is people thinking they're so smart they can figure out how everything comes to be. Well, we're going to find out pretty quick here, and it's going to point us in a direction that an awful lot of people didn't want to go. What is amazing to me is how many scientists really do want to go there and really do want to understand something of the nature of God. So don't tell me that our little aquariums have nothing to do with God and nothing to do with politics. You are a fool if you believe that. And if you refuse to discuss its implications, then you're a greater fool for not protecting that which you cherish. And there's an awful lot of that going on. An awful lot of people not cherishing, not protecting what they cherish, but throwing it up and saying, oh, well, the government will take care of it. No, the government won't take care of it. It's not the job of the government to take care of you and yours. That's your job. And the job of the government is to stay out of the way so that you can do your job. Provide a foundation, if you will, safety, a place of safety. Well, let's get back to the chat. All right. Let's see. Thomas Hines, just stick with it, Thomas. You'll be able to get there and you'll love it. Let's see. Michigan Tropicals. Good morning, good morning. See how many we've lost here. Probably some. Michael, Carlsbad. Thomas, must be talking Texas and heading north, right? Michigan Tropicals. I'm building an 8-foot by 12-inch by 12-inch river tank, scaping it as a river. Best recommendations of what fish to add to it. Now you need to go over to Maple Street and check with those guys. Obviously, you want 8 foot. You want some small, like darters. You want to get out to some local streams and catch some small fish, some darters, there are gobies, there are a number of other little fish that live in our streams that will be absolutely perfect in that tank. I'm real interested in knowing your design for this. I've seen a couple of different designs for river tanks or creek tanks, stream tanks. Real interested in knowing yours. If you can get over, if you got a video, post it, please, Michigan Tropicals. If you can get over to Discord and show it to us there. Very interested in your project and seeing how it goes down. Yeah, Thomas says, as a reminder, oil is not made from dinosaurs. Quite so, Thomas, quite so. In point of fact, oil is as it turns out, oil is a replenishing resource. Oil is constantly being created. It's not a fossil fuel, not at all. It's wells of it or lakes of it are ancient, but it is it's a material that's being produced by virtue of the pressure of the plates on the earth. Thomas, Michigan Tropicals. I would do Danios and Hillstream loaches. Yeah, that's the other way to go, I think, Thomas. But you know, when you think about it, those are fish that primarily are riverine fish. They're fish that live in there. They come from a natural environment of flowing water. They're simply more widely ranged. I guess my immediate inclination with a tank like this, like Michigan Tropicals is doing, is to do it as a native species. Now, by native species, what I mean is the animals that are living in the environment you're living in, your aquatic neighbors, if you will. But Thomas is absolutely right. You can go pretty far afield with this and get into fish like, well, hillstream loaches are a perfect example. He's talking about chopray, tinwinny, and chiatid. Those are tinier fish. You may find if you put darters in that they're going to eat them up. You're going to have trouble mixing very tiny fish with even 2-inch fish. So give this some serious consideration before you jump in. You can't do everything. You can do one kind of thing and maybe only fish from one region. So you need to decide what you want to do in that respect, what specific environment you want to try to replicate. So that means studying various river environments and determining the one that you're most interested in so that you can find ways to duplicate that. Oh, I agree, Michigan hillstream loaches are a must. They are a delightful fish. They're probably not going to do. They're not going to do well with 2 to 3 inch starter, which will tend to have them for lunch. Thomas Hines saying 20 points to Father Fish for saying my name correctly. Well, thank you, Thomas. That's funny. What can I put those points on? Danang 0259. Permian Basin kept us. Oh, we did that. I did that comment. Okay. T-Bone. Got myself a flaming red dwarf gourami today to give my coral blue gourami a friend. He was looking lonely. They are stunning fish. They can tend to be difficult. They can tend to be difficult to keep. So I wish you well on that. You may well have a better strain in Australia than we have here in the States, or for that matter in Asia, Southeast Asia. Well, in Cambodia and Thailand and all those places where so many of our fish are coming from. Excuse me, I've got a hangnail here. Did I get it? I got it. Michael Pfeiffer is here to learn about fishing, not politics. Well, Michael, I'll tell you what. If you can separate the two for me in a reasonable, rational way and prove to me that fish keeping has nothing to do with politics, then I will accede to your wishes. But you're going to need to prove it to me. Come on over to Discord. We have a channel there specifically for this conversation. Be happy to have it with you there. Kevin Rosenberg. Good morning, Kevin. Tam Shepard is saying, Amen, Michael. You guys, you just want to put blinders on. You want to say, I don't want to see. I don't want to say. I don't want to know. That's not very smart. If you're not engaged and involved and thinking about and caring about the primary influences on your life, on your hobby, on all of it, then you're really not protecting what you cherish. You can't run and hide. You can't ignore reality. Tish. Thomas says that's beautiful, Tish. Kevin Rosenberg, good morning. Christina Whitaker, hello, hello. Let's see. Danang02 has thrown down a super chat, which I have lost track of. I need to there it is right there. Danang, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate it very, very much. Tom is going to give Discord another try soon. Please do. I think what it really represents is a place where open conversation can occur that's unfettered by any sort of censorship or by any sort of censorship, because there are a lot of different kinds of censorship. There's the kind that YouTube imposes on anyone posting on it. And there's also the kind that says, I don't want to talk about that. That's inappropriate. That's censorship. And that is inappropriate. Danang, what's your favorite lighting? Not counting natural. Natural is my favorite lighting. You nailed me on that. Well, I tell you frankly, I started looking at LEDs 10 years ago when they first began coming out, and they were expensive and the quality was very poor. They hadn't appropriately matched the temperament of the light diode with the power source, and they were burning out. The science of that is better understood today, and the techniques have been developed to be able to put them together in ways that are more stable. And so LEDs today are just profoundly better than they have been, and the prices come down. I want to show you one to the point where they've become really affordable. Here's one I just picked up. I don't know if you can see this. That little sucker's got a lot of light. That's about 100 watts coming out of that 4-foot tube, and that's about a $25 light. I need to get that one posted. I don't have that one posted. I'll try to get it. But there are others. There are a lot of LEDs these days that are inexpensive and very effective. I don't do much. Haiger's got some good lights that are inexpensive and pretty effective, and that have controllers on them. So I would look at Haiger. That's a source that I'm comfortable with. Excuse me. T-Bone. When I was up at the LFS today, I talked to a guy into going a sand substrate instead of gravel. Talked to him about doing a dirty tank until he told me what type of fish he was going to get. Probably a Oscar or something. Thomas Hines. Thomas says I do. Ian Mary, what? Oh, he will. Discard we're talking about. Let's see. I just jumped 50 down. Alex is here. Hello, Alex. Nice to see you. Yeah, Rohan Lou Foxwell activated. There you go. Oh my. Let's see. Texas Tech. Here we go. Science doesn't say something came from nothing. It's a typical misunderstanding by religion. Do a little research. Find out what the Big Bang Theory really is. Well, I have, Texas, and that's precisely what it is. It is something that came out of nothing. It is an uncaused cause. That is to say, it's an event in time, not caused by anything precluding it that is in its nature. So I've thought very deeply about this for many, many, many years, Texas Snake. Don't assume I'm stupid. That would be an unfortunate assumption for you to make. Rohan, this platform for beginners to learn the basics, intermediates, to increase the number of tanks by using deep substrate, and for experts to learn something new. Quite so, Rohan. Thank you. Naresh has pointed to a video about light. Nothing is something, Thomas Hines says. Nothing is something. Well, that's interesting. That's interesting. It is a conundrum, isn't it? Quite a conundrum. The nothing is that which is not an expression of, a manifestation of, or a result of anything known, anything in the known universe. Canistio. Father Fish was around when the Big Bang was just a little crackle. Thomas Hines, I'm not religious, but I have this tiny piece in me. There's something bigger than me. Amen to that, Thomas. Amen to that. Canistio. Viva Apophis. Quite so, Canistio. Quite so. The creator lives beyond our dimensions of space and time, precisely, and is by definition eternal. Our universe, and here's the key, what the Big Bang is, what proof of the Big Bang demonstrates is that the universe is not eternal. The universe is not infinite in that sense. That's substantial. That is a substantial understanding. Thomas Hines says God is a faith, a belief that life was created by a creator, but you can never prove the creator. Well, I think, Thomas, in point of fact, that's precisely what Webb is seeking to do, is to prove a creator. because if the universe is not infinite, is not eternal, then there must be that which is, which brought about out of its nature our universe. What caused it precisely? Thomas, it says the Big Bang will tell us how it happened, but never tell us who caused it. Now, this is where it becomes relevant to our fish tanks, because the creator, how can I put this? It's the potter and the clay. You cannot know the potter's name by looking at the pot, but you can know the character of the potter by looking at the pot. Try to wrap your head around that, because what that means is the character, the nature, the structure, the essence, the functionality, the business of life, and in particular our little aquariums, is expressive of a greater understanding and a greater truth. The greater understanding and truth is the nature of reality. What we derive from our experience in this aquarium is the nature of reality is such that it balances itself. It is harmonious with itself. It is, as it were, one. It is unified. It is something that thrives and grows and is essentially whole and strong and healthy and vibrant. Now, if that's true in our tank, it's true because that's the nature of nature. If that's the nature of nature, then that most certainly is a function of that which brought about nature. So you take steps back and you get to an initial cause, an uncaused cause, and that gives you information and knowledge and understanding of that uncaused cause. By looking at the pot, we can learn something about the potter. Doing Sunday school lessons today. Creator lives beyond our dimension, the space and time. Right. That's interesting, Thomas. If the universe was created, now the question still remains, would the creator make a closed universe or an open universe? Well, I don't know. I don't think the answer to that necessarily follows. I think it would depend upon the motivation of the creator. What's he trying to do? I don't know. Could very well be closed. But we know that entropy will eventually bring all of this to a standstill. So does that make it then closed? I assume it does. Interesting. Glitch. Good morning, Glitch. Nice to see you. If Thomas, I don't want to talk about that. If the universe was created, the question still remains with, oh yeah, we did that. I'm sorry. Thank you. People can't even imagine true nothing. Yeah, right? Well, we can't. Of course we can. We cannot imagine it. The brains can't function that way. We cannot imagine an uncaused cause. We can intellectually derive through logic a recognition. If the Big Bang is true, then that is an event, a singularity, if you will, an event beyond which an uncaused event. Well, It's a caused event by an agent, itself uncaused. So we have to posit some source which is eternal. I mean, these are the conundrums that we get into when we begin thinking with this feeble little tool we've got here. This is an expression of the universe. It may have the truth of the universe in it, but it doesn't go beyond itself. And I guess that's the key. That what we really want to be able to do is, in some real sense, go beyond ourselves and worship that which is eternal, that which is the source of all. I think I think I think a lot of things. I don't want to think about it anymore. Let's see. T-Bone said, I thought you weren't going to talk religion. I never said that. Bible is the thing that says something came from nothing. Well, that's what science is saying as well, Texas Snake. You know, that's what Webb is all about, is determining the event, the Big Bang, because that opens a welter of knowledge and understanding about the nature of reality extending beyond our own reality. And the Bible is simply a collection of writings and meditations that is in all about 4,000 years old. Those writings occurred over a period of about 4,000 years, with roots that go back in oral tradition far beyond that, perhaps 10,000 years beyond that as oral tradition. So it's the wisdom of a 4,000-year block of human history, during which humans were intellectually and morally emerging from a coarser, rougher time. Michael said, the Permian Basin is pretty hard water. I was hoping I could get inspiration as a setting up a tank in harmony with my tap water. You know, most of the tanks I've set up in my life have been hard water tanks. I really prefer, because I guess I'm used to it, hard water tanks. There are hobbyists who have salt acid water. Some inspiration. I'll tell you what would be a really good fish. If you can get down to the Gulf, in fact, I could even send some to you. Pupfish. The pupfish is an extraordinary little animal. There are half a dozen species, a couple of which are extinct, and another one at least is endangered. I don't recommend you get that one, although it's probably in your region. But there's a Gulf pupfish, the Cyprinodon, that is the Cyprinodon variatus, is extremely common. It ranges from Mexico to Maine along the coast in inland waterways, in brackish water, and in some cases in not in salt water, but in hard water that goes up even beyond tidal influence. Remarkable fish. And the reason I say that is because I have found them in the runoff from mineral springs. They like hard water. Their their penchant is for hard water. Um, so they're a perfect fish for the kind of water you're talking about. There are others. That's a really remarkable one. And one of the things that is particularly unique about them is that they will spawn in colony in like a 40-gallon breeder. I had them spawning in this 40 over here at the shop, and I had over 100 babies from that spawn. I sold a bunch of them. Three or four people who got them that I know of have been. That was 5 years ago. Still have that strain of fish. They're hardy. They're remarkably easy to maintain. They're a vegetarian, but they are so aggressive. Not aggressive, not in a biting, fighting way, but aggressive in a chasing, terrorizing way. They just go after everything and wear them down to the point where they just drop dead because they can't stand being chased anymore. I've seen it happen. These little guys, from the day they're born, are chasing each other. They're just a remarkable fish. And when the males are in a breeding pattern, they're stunningly beautiful fish. Black with iridescent blue. Just beautiful fish. Alex says, can God lift a rock so heavy even he cannot lift it? Yes, absolutely. Precisely. Now you got it. Now you got it figured out. That's precisely right. God can lift a rock so heavy he can't lift it. That is the nature of God, to do that which cannot be done. Precisely. Nailed it, Alex. Michael Pfeiffer. We did that. That was the Bible says it was created from magic, not scientists. That's nonsense, Texas. Utter nonsense. You really need to be quiet and listen. You're saying things that are just ignorant. Sorry to be blunt, but you're being blunt as well. So I'm going to give it right back at you. Thomas, what if I told you that even a rock has some level of conscience? I buy that, absolutely. I think the nature of existence, one of the things that points to the Creator most directly, is consciousness. Consciousness is in the very fabric of existence. You can define it however you wish, but the awareness of an other, which is the nature of consciousness, and the nature of oneself, and the nature of an other, or of others, is the essence of consciousness. And I think that's a fundamental characteristic of existence. And that's exactly and precisely what we derive from the little fish living in our aquarium. Our fascination with them is in the area of consciousness. We have an intuitive insight, awareness, understanding of that little fish's consciousness and how it functions as a conscious creature. And we study it and observe it and pay attention to it and care about it based on that very single premise, on that event, on that precise experience, the experience of the shared experience of consciousness. It's unavoidable. It is unavoidable. I think part of the problem here is the word religion, and I don't use the word religion because religious, that which is religious, has a very specific meaning. It has to do with discipline, the discipline of oneself according to a certain set of principles or structures or rules or whatever. That's religion. I don't consider myself particularly religious, at least not on that level. If I am, it's on a different kind of level, on a more perhaps natural level. But my understanding of the nature of reality has everything to do with God. Everything. Because I cannot, put it another way, I was going to say I cannot conceive of, I certainly can conceive of a universe without God. It would be a universe in chaos, or that simply didn't exist. But a universe in which there is a Godhead, in which there is an actor, in which there is a creator, is itself, that creator, imbued with the character and the qualities of its creation. You can learn a lot from the potter by looking at the pot. We look at the pot, that's the aquarium. We look at the aquarium and we learn about what it is that pulls all this together. You see, that's what a balanced tank, a harmonious tank is all about. It is an appreciation of the fact that by bringing together various elements, a process can occur that creates a whole, healthy, balanced environment. That can only happen in a principled universe. It can only happen, and now in that sense, I might consider myself religious in the sense of wanting to abide by the laws of nature, the principles of reality, and not be in conflict with them. I think that's an appropriate use of the term, of the concept of religion. To live in accordance with the nature of reality. And that's what we try to do. That's what I'm trying to teach with these aquariums, to depend upon and to allow to come into its fullest expression the nature of nature in these little fish tanks. Too many people don't get that on any level at all. They want to throw together some water in a tank and some gravel, and somehow the fish are going to live. Well, they're not, because you've not given that environment the opportunity to be able to develop into a healthy living environment. And there are some key things you need to do to make that happen. The fundamental one of which is the substrate. It's the foundation. The substrate, the bottom, the base. You get that right, and a whole lot of other things become right virtually automatically. It's the nature of reality that we need to get our heads wrapped around in order to be able to create a healthy aquarium. Does that make sense? If you don't have that, you may by happenstance pull it off, but the likelihood is you won't, and an awful lot of people don't. 90% of the people who try don't. And the reason they don't is because they're given this false notion You can buy this piece of equipment, that piece of equipment, this chemical, that chemical, throw them all together, and somehow you're going to get something that's going to keep fish alive. Well, it don't, because it doesn't incorporate the fundamental nature of reality. It doesn't incorporate the principles of nature. That's what you need to do. Once you do that, you got it. It's there. It's done. It happens all by itself, doesn't it? Virtually. Oh. All right. Alan Tooth. Hello, Alan Tooth. Good to see you. Bible doesn't talk about magic. In point of fact, magic is decried by Jesus as demonic. So, Texas, you honestly don't know what you're talking about. Who created God? That's the issue. That's precisely the issue. Who created God? God is the uncaused cause, that which is not created, that which is eternal. Hard to get hold of that, isn't it? Oh, 9:21. Boy, I'm way behind here. Lord. Let me try to jump down this a bit. Patricia Powers, hello, hello. Doing well, working from home, black ice everywhere, 15 accidents in 2 hours. Thomas Hines, wow. Same here, Alex says. Buick, good morning, Buick. Right, fossil fuels. Oh dear, I don't even want to get into it. A nano fish keeper, I have biases. Bravo, Thomas. Bravo. Yeah, Christine is saying, scientists I talked to used to find oil told me all the mainstream beliefs about oil are crap. Well, it's stupidity. Stupidity. Whew. You know what? Maybe I ought to leave him here, but I'm really ready to one more. I give him one more chance. Danang. Hi, Alex. Good morning, brother Fish. Good morning, Danang. Thomas says, Father Fish reminds me of my very first boss with my first job. Well, I'm about the right age, probably. Lee is here. Hello, Lee. Happy to see you. Red Dwarf, Sue and I are on season 6, episode 5. Not The Fish, but a red comedy sci-fi. Red Dwarf. Wow. T-Bone, good morning, Lee. Lister, Rimmer, and Cat. Yeah. Christina, if the Build Back Better plan had passed, no one would be able to collect native fish anymore. All water down to the puddle in your yard would be federal. Absolutely right. And it's true already in a number of states. It is. That's the nature of the demonic. That is the nature of the demonic. To restrict and cancel any attempt to be at one with nature. It's not to say to destroy, it is to say to engender, to support, to encourage, to be hands-on. See, all of these people who believe that nature is going to work better if we just leave it alone don't understand the nature of human beings in the nature system. They rather want to dispose of human beings. And I think the problem with people like that is they really don't understand who they are and what their place is in nature. They just want to somehow dismiss it all and say, no, no, humans don't belong here. Meaning, of course, that they do not perceive their, have any understanding of their relationship to life and to nature, other than to dismiss it. That's a very mentally aberrant mentality. It's a mental illness. It really is a mental illness that says, I don't have any part in existence. I deserve to be gone. That's pretty sick. Pretty sick. And not in a good sense. Blinded by the light, Thomas says. Amen to that, Thomas. Well, I just jumped to the bottom here. Maybe I ought to just stay there. Michael, it was brilliant. I was so glad you did that. I appreciate it very much. Bringing up the Permian Basin thing. That was very helpful, very supportive. T-Bone just threw a $5 super chat down. Thank you, T-Bone. Need to try to find it here. I am so far back. There it is, right there. Thank you, T-Bone. Going on about God again. Yeah, well, I gave it up years ago. Gave it up. It twisted my brain too much. Rigo, right? Too damn woke right now. Yeah, I don't think so, Lee. I don't think it depends on the grand plan you're talking about. There are several grand plans going around, some of which are not desirable and others are. Thomas says if the universe is closed, what's on the outside? Right. That's the conundrum. Mark and Mindy are gone within 6 weeks of each other. Wow. Like that's Mark and Mindy are two goldfish that Lee has had for years and years. Died within 6 weeks of each other. Sue made a new tank from their old one. Canistio, it's okay, Michael. We're all allowed to express our opinions here. No judging allowed except by me. Well, that's right, but you gotta have a bit of a thick skin too. If you're gonna stick your nose out there, expect someone to smack it. You might wind up getting it bloodied. But give back as good as you get. And be willing to take as good as you give. And you'll be okay. On which side of the cosmic substrate do we currently exist? I love it. I love it. That's wonderful. On which side of the cosmic substrate do we currently exist? Mercy. Well, I think it's clear. We're on the bottom of the substrate. We are the primordial ooze, if you will. We're that which sustains all the good stuff going on up there. We have not derived an alternative to that role, I think. So I believe that really is. I believe we are on the bottom of the cosmic substrate. And that probably ultimately is the healthiest and most vital place to be. It's certainly true in our, look here, follow this now, follow this. In our aquarium, which is the most important side of the cosmic substrate? It's the very bottom. That bottom layer, I use dirt to as a resemblance of that bottom layer, the primordial ooze again. Cap it with sand to keep it out of the water column. But it's semi-permeable, so the water flows through it, and plant roots go down into it, and they pull nutrients, they pull life up out of it, and they grow and they thrive. People coming into the hobby are told that is dirty and you have to get rid of it. It's bad, it's dirty, it's nasty, it's stinky, it's yucky, it's poopy. You have to get it out, get rid of it. You see? And what happens? Precisely nothing good happens. What happens is the water's not able to balance. The chemistry is not able to balance. There's no sense in which there's any flow of life, any web of life. It dies. It just dies. It dies for lack of balance, for lack of harmony, for lack of a web, of a food web, a web of life. It dies for lack of that. If you try to get rid of that, you kill everything. It's counterintuitive, to be sure, but it is vitally important. It's critical. And we can only know that by knowing something of the nature of reality, something of the nature of nature, of existence. Michael Pfeiffer, excellent, excellent. Which side of the cosmic substrate do we currently exist? Get that, and then you've got a handle on why and how to bring about this desirable environment in our aquariums. You know what? To get rid of the waste. The waste is the nutrition that perpetuates the life. But you need to give it its appropriate place to be. You want to keep it out of the water column because it creates too much in the water column. Get it going down in. Get that sand in there so it'll go down in there, and dirt at the foundation of it so it can be boiled up. It can be broken down with that soil, that deep soil, that anaerobic substrate, in order to recreate the fundamentals of what it all was to begin with, so the roots can find it and absorb it, feed on it, take it up and build new. So it's a constantly building new. It's a living thing. The aquarium needs to be a living environment, not a dead, cold, flat water environment with a little water in it and a fish and some food and maybe a twig of a plant or maybe plastic something. That's stupid. That's not alive. That's dead. Needs to be alive. Alive. It's alive. Scouse is here. Hello, Scouse. Gabriel Polino at 9:43. pH drops even though I have no nitrate or high nitrite. Gabriel, you don't have any carbonates in your water. You need carbonates. Magnificent to talk about how we experience the universe as humans versus how others called the universe is queerer than we can dispose. Excellent. Excellent, Alex. Thank you so much. Lisa's Tank. Good morning, Lisa's. Yeah, right, exactly. That's right. Alex is suggesting to Gabriel some crushed shell or crushed coral, about a cup per 10 gallons. Needs a buffer like calcium. That's it. It's precisely right. Well, there you go, 3G. If there was a big bang, there must have been a big banger. Precisely. Let's see. That's excellent. Excellent. 45. Hmm. Lee's talking about the tank that Sue set up with rasboras and ember tetras and so forth. Need to see that, Lee. I haven't seen that. Good morning, Papa Shrimp. 9:45. I'm going to get caught up here. Pupfish are fascinating. Yes, Michael is talking about pupfish. Wooler, was that long ago? My word. Oh, yeah. But you can't keep the devil's whole. But I tell you what, Thomas, the Cyprinodon variatus, the Gulf pupfish, is every bit as pretty and as interesting. It's the same family of fish, a different species, slight variations, but very much the same fish. And really easy to get. I sell them, and they ship beautifully. So, happy to be able to provide some for you. Sue Ann and Steve. Steve stopped in on his break. Who would win the fight between a dogfish and a catfish? Oh boy. Depends on the size of each, I think. Like, hellos. God would be bound by the physics of the universe, would he not? Well, bound by his own rules. Sure, bound by his own nature. He would be bound by his own character, as are we all. I mean, that's our understanding, but maybe not. Maybe by choice. T-bone. A lot of dogs are scared of cats, so a catfish, T-bone says. Gabriel. DDS. It's 150. That's you need to distinguish between KH and GH, your general hardness and your carbonate hardness. The carbonate hardness is what's going to hold the pH up. And that's what Alex is suggesting with the crushed coral or oyster shell or whatever. That provides carbonates. Thomas, I bet Father Fish was not expecting this conversation. You're right. I wasn't expecting it, but I take great joy in it. Michael Pfeiffer, I drink therefore I pee. Right, precisely. Me too. Crushed coral. Yep. Lee says, rocks are clever. People always tell me I'm as smart as a bag of rocks. And you are a clever soul. You are indeed. Lee. Surly. Katrina, I think, has been established over 2 years. Universe is chaotic, like a pan of boiling water. Predict the bubbles and ask what's the temperature and pressure. Can't get it out of my head that there is a God. Can't get it into my head. Oh well. Well, you may have some special, very personal reasons for that, Lee. You might look at that. Katrina has some type of grass lake growing. Would it be dying under the top due to lack of oxygen? Plants are not going to die due to a lack of oxygen. They will die due to a lack of carbon dioxide, CO2. Or they're simply dying because they've reached critical mass. Dying under the top. Don't know what that means, Katrina. I think we need more information. Try to get over on Discord. We can talk about this more in depth. Should I trim it back? Well, probably that sounds like a good solution, whatever the issue is. One of the smartest sack of rocks I've ever come across, Lee says to Alex. Couldn't agree more, Lee. Alex is one of the smartest sacks of rocks I've ever come across, and I have deep appreciation for him. Thank you so much for being here, Alex. Appreciate you. By the way, did I ever post the... Maybe I didn't. Interesting. Let's do it. Never posted the link this morning. Here we go. Tom is saying the tank, gravel, water filtration, that's sand, not gravel, are the hardware. The fundamentals of why you need these things is the software, the intangible. Yeah, in a real sense. Whip's World sneaking in the back door to say, hey, hi there, Whip's World. Tam, I agree with Master Lee. Secret history, living in your aquarium. Me too, Tam. Absolutely. Melvin Reef, hello. Let's see, Lee. Need my afternoon nap. It's 15. That's 3 p.m. If he doesn't get it, he won't have enough energy for his tea time nap and his night sleep. T-Bone, I did see your sticker. I've got it posted. Is there another one? You did? Did you do two? Oh, I guess that's back before 20 minutes ago. I did get it posted. Sandy Diamond. When I was a little kid, I had a fishbowl with an air stone and canary bird sand as substrate. And plants and nanofish. It was great. Like a father fish tank. Yes, indeed. Absolutely. Good job, Sandy. Whip's World. Good morning, Melvin. Katrina. We did that. 10:06. Trying to teach someone. He started with no cycle in gouramis. Didn't want to listen. I texted 4 days later. Asked if his water was cloudy yet. He's listening now. Good job, Christina. Well done. Terry says if there's a God, he's a kid with an ad farm. Seems that way somehow, doesn't it? Thomas Hines, without the tiniest creatures, higher organisms cannot exist. We all depend upon them daily. Amen to that, Thomas. Absolutely right. Let's see. Rant on living things. Thomas is on the floor. ROFL. We're at least in the aerobic layer. Well, that's probably true, Thomas. We are, I think. More the extremophile in any condition. I will find a way to thrive. Bravo, Christina. Bravo. Thomas says Father Fish has a smart audience for sure. You betcha. You betcha. Cultivated, too. New local Austin. Much love, much peace. Much love, peace to you this day. You too, no local Austin. Thomas. Maybe in touch with you for some pupfish. Happy to do that. DeFreeze, hello. Hello, DeFreeze. I do have a lysoma. I do. I've got Everglade, and they're doing real well. And they ship well. I'm astounding how well they ship. Christina, trying to know the mind of the unfathomable is a hard prospect. Precisely. Precisely. Michael, got a few new bruises to show for this experience, but I'll probably be back. Gotta go do some boring grown-up stuff now. Bye, Michael. Love having you here. Thomas accidentally discovered Alex and forgot how. Doesn't matter. Once you're there, you're home. Roman Shira, come back soon, Michael. Nice and green on top and under that, not so much. Well, that's a good idea. So you're going to try Discord. That'd be great. To Cooley for Schoolie. Hello, hello. Alex says, I'm an accidental kind of guy, Michael. True enough. Don't know why I typed Michael. Father Fish caught up with the chat. Did I? I think I'm close. I'm close. Took all day. I'm there. Look at that. That was the last comment. How did I do that? How did you do that? Everybody stopped typing when you did that, Alex. That's funny. Lost chat so badly last night. I know. Well, this is one of the worst for me in a long time. I've rarely gotten a half an hour behind, but I sure did. I just got off. I got off too long, too heavy, too much. Thomas says Alex and I have something in common. I expect you guys got a lot in common. Busy but listening, volunteerism, moles. Busy but listening. Great chat today. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right. Well, it's 10:30. More Dr. Pepper, Alex. Right, Tab? Absolutely. I was looking. Dr. Pepper is on special at Publix. 2 6-packs for $4. Is that a good deal? 6 for $2. Not that good a deal. No, that's like 30 cents a piece. Set up my minnow tank today to grow lettuce as hydroponic. Let you know how it works, Christina. Yes, please. By all means. All right, I'm going to knock it off. We've gotten in enough trouble today. Crack my first Dr. Pepper of the day, says Alex. Sandy, my towel friends talk about becoming cultivators. Fatherfish is definitely a cultivator. We'll overlook that misspelling, Sandy, because you can't go back and correct it. It's a pain in the butt. Been a spectacular morning for sure. Some of us loved it and some of us didn't. Thomas and I certainly loved it. Voluntarism, yes. Oh, Alex says it's a great deal. In Seattle, it's $11.99 a 12-pack, so that's like $6 for a 6-pack on sale. Wow. Yeah, that's half that price. Or less. Roman, talking about Christina's minnow tank to grow lettuce. That's pretty cool. That's right up Roman's alley. That's what you need to do, Roman. Is get some aquaponics going. That would suit you, Christina. Great day and blessings. Amen. And you too. I'm going to find Naresh's song because I love that so much. We'll go off with that. There it is right there. And get it up. Got it going. Plug it in, turn it on. Turn it on. Love you all. Who did this? Somebody threw a $10 super chat down. Was that? Da-dang. Danango 259. Thank you for the $10 super chat tonight. Very sweet. Thank you so much. Gasoline is $5, Alex says. Can mix root beer and Coke, and it tastes like Dr. Pepper. Gas is $3.02 in Florida for regular. Cheapest in the country. Love you all. God bless. Alex, thank you for the $5 super chat. There it is. Love you all. Since we still got 22 people hanging in there, we'll play it all the way through. Sparkling day. I'll be back here Friday night at 8:30 with Shelby.